Hey everyone, I thought I would try and use my time in quarantine somewhat usefully and do a tutorial. I am now the model because obviously as a makeup artist we can't do makeup anymore, so I'm entertaining my new career as a model for YouTube. So first step is to get a drink. Okay, so today's drink, this is not a tutorial on drinking, but it could be, but this is my poison of choice today. This is Pure Blonde cider, which is low carb because we can't go and exercise anymore. So you'll find me here. Okay, so I have washed my hair for the first time in days in quarantine. I'm gonna start with some Bare Minerals Bare Pro concealers. I've been rummaging through all my makeup that I've got, and I guess now is a good time to be trying new products. So I've got two shades here, medium neutral 8, medium warm 7. I feel like I'm pretty neutral right now, so gonna put this on here because let's be real, no one's been sleeping lately, have we? A little bit stressed, and everyone's Botox can run out real soon, and soon I'll be a brunette. Look at this regrowth, it's just great. I'm really glad that I pushed out that color because I was saving money, and now we can't even get it done, so great. Anyway, moving on. That's good. That color's good on me. That's just hidden all the sleepless nights that I've had of late. So I'm gonna use today, I was gonna use a new foundation, but I was just like, I'm just gonna use what I use. So I love on myself the NARS Sheer Glow. This is the shade Barcelona, which is probably a little bit pale for me right now, but that's purposely why I put on this high neck, so that you won't be able to see as much the bad color match, because I'm a pro like that. So this is a Zoeva 317. Oh my god, it's not a wing liner brush, Mia. This is a buffer brush. I think it's the 104. Yes, it is. Foundation brush from Zoeva. I love this brush because it's really dense and it's quite big, so you can cover as much ground as possible quickly. But let's be real, we've got all the time in the world now, don't we? So that doesn't really matter anymore. We can spend a whole day on our get ready with me makeup. So that's one pump on one side of my face, and I like this foundation because my skin's normal. It's not oily, it's not dry, and when I'm off the pill, my skin is ridiculously oily and I couldn't use this. But when I am on the pill, it's just normal, and it's a nice medium coverage that's buildable up to full. I've got some decent pigmentation going on these days, which is not amazing. And it seems to cover that reasonably well, which is handy. But this brush is synthetic, so it's cruelty free. It washes out of product really well because of that, because it's synthetic. So it's not a real hairbrush, so it's not porous, it's not absorbing the product and hanging onto it. So I do find when I clean my foundation brushes, which is something that I hate doing, I leave all the foundation brushes till last because they're the hardest, they take the longest to clean. And on that note, I use the Sard Wonder Soap with a crown brush glove. But I do notice that when I use a synthetic brush, that the foundation washes out a lot quicker. Okay, so I'm gonna set just my forehead and across my eyes with the By Terry Hydra Powder. And I'm using a crown brush. And I actually haven't used this. I haven't used so many of the products that I use in my kit on clients on myself. I don't know, I just don't get a chance to do it. but I've heard this powder's really good. So I just want to knock back any shine off the 5 head here. We don't want any shine up there. A little bit under the eyes, but not too much, because you don't want to dry out and dehydrate under the eyes and make me look 50 instead of 40. That is not hot. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to the Laura Mercier. This is the Glow Translucent Powder. So I purposely did the forehead first so that I didn't cross-contaminate this brush first with an iridescent powder on the forehead. So this can go on the rest of my face using the same brush. I always do a little tacky test to feel if it's sticky. It means that it's going to come off on my phone, on my hands, whatever. Not that we're touching our face at the moment, guys. So I know that it's going to come off. It's not going to have longevity, so that's why I always do that little, when I'm working on models, I do that little tacky test to see if it needs more setting. Okay, so I've just done my brows off camera. You've seen me do my brows before, and I'm currently using probably the wrong color of everything right now because I'm running out of my personal stuff. I'm just gonna do some light contouring with the Revlon Skin Lights bronzer. I actually really like this bronzer. So I'm using the same brush, the Crown brush. This is actually, it's a Mia Kana one. It's out of my set with Crown that I had. I'm knocking back this old 5 head stitch. I always say not to go crazy with the contouring. If you are obviously emaciated in the face, a really thin, small face, or you are getting older, which does mean that your face is thinning out. But with all the snacks we've been having lately, she's a bit more voluminous through here, so we can do a little bit of contouring. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna grab another brush. This is a Zoeva, and I'm just, get my hand mirror. I like to do a bit of, this is what I do on my models. I like to contour, like, so you're kind of connecting the contour from the eyebrow and then down the side of the nose. This is how I do a little bit of light nose contouring. Nothing too crazy. You should never be able to detect that you've done anything. If you can see it, you have gone too far. So we don't want to have a Michael Jackson nose, or you can if you want. I'm not. I just like, well, I mean, I don't even do this on myself. This is more so what I would do on my models. But the size of the brush is important. You can't obviously have any control if, you know, your brush was quite big. But there we go. I've just had a nose job. It's great. Okay, next up, we're just going to have a drink. This is going to make the makeup look so much better. Okay, so I'm probably going to do a cream blush, so I'm going to leave that to the end because I don't want to put my hands all over it. But today I'm going to be using the Crown. This is their 35 City Color. Is it City Lights? Look at that. It's like a rainbow in a palette. So I'm not going to go ham with the colors in this. As usual, I don't have a plan. So I'm just gonna do a warm tone smoky eye. So I think I'm gonna start with this shade here in my outer crease thing, pocket, whatever. Okay, this is a Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease Brush. I'm gonna load up the brush and I'm gonna get my little hand mirror. And I'm just gonna apply this. This is hard. just in the outer corner of my eye. I'm using the brush just with its tip. I'm purposely not using it on its side because I want this to go exactly where I want it. Just going to bring that up into the socket a little bit. So this is a nice warm tone, so it's going to be complementary to my blue eyes. I'm going high up onto the socket bone because this isn't a super dark color. And remembering that I do have deep set eyes, so I want to knock that back rather than draw attention to it. Okay guys, that's both eyes done. Next up, I'm going to transition with the next shade, which I'm going to use this one. So we started over here, and then I'm going to jump and blend right up to the brow bone with that one. And we use another Zoeva. So basically I'm catching the very edge of this shadow. I'm not loading up my brush as much as I did for the first color. And the key with choosing your last color, which is going quite high and right up to the brow bone so that it eliminates edges whatsoever. There's no more edges, which results in a nice soft look, is making sure that the color you've chosen isn't too dark for your natural skin color, because it has to melt away into your skin. So obviously, because we are going so high, if it was too dark, it would look like you've been punched in the eye, and we don't want that. And if it was too light, it may turn a little bit ashy against whatever color you're transitioning from. Okay, next step. You know it, you're picking up fast. It's to have a drink. Okay, I'm gonna work on my mobile lid here because it's just sitting there empty. So I'm using, this is a Crown brush C510, a nice flat firm brush. And I'm going to go in with this shade here. So something light and bright, it's a shimmer. I don't usually use shimmers on myself because the old crepey lid situation, but you know, we're in quarantine, so anything goes really. So I'm loading up my brush and I'm going to get my hand mirror and I'm going to put this, ooh, that's nice, just on my mobile lid. So when I look straight ahead, when I do other people's makeup, I don't want to see any dirty little sparkles hovering above that socket line. I want it to be a clear highlight in the high point on the eye, which is the center of the eye, where the eyeball is, and it's all part of the highlighting process. So you're stopping it before it goes up past, like onto that bone or up onto your crease. I'm bringing this across 2/3 from the inner corner across so that it captures the highest point, which is my eyeball, which is the center of the eye. So we always work in thirds. If I came across 1/3, it's not hitting that high point there, and you can see that the light captures that high point. It is the highest point. So we want to have that definitely with some light hitting it with this shimmer. And you don't have to obviously use shimmer, you could have used a matte, but I'm using a nice shimmer today. Okay, that's both eyes done now, guys. So I'm gonna move in with a brown liner, a pencil. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury pencil that I have been sent by the lovely girls at TaylorMade PR. This one is called Copper Charge Matte. So it's double-ended. That's got the matte side, the darker side, and then this side is the metallic side. So that's it's a social gathering I can hear next door. Okay, so first up, I'm just gonna go in and do my waterline because I love my waterline done. So this particular, as the name suggests, it's copper. So this pencil that my friend Charlotte has brought out is actually designed for a blue eye as part of her quads that she's brought out, the quad eyeshadows. She's got ones for like brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. I can't remember, hazel eyes, I think was the other one. So this one, it does have that readiness about it. So you need to make sure that you don't have like red eyes, for instance, because the red in this, anything warm like that is going to accentuate any redness in the eyes. So just be very mindful of that. So that's my waterline done. I'm going to tight line as well. They're having a good old yarn, aren't they? Okay, so we'll tight line under there. I don't know what is going on in my neighborhood. Okay, now I'm going to go along the top line with this. They're really nice and soft. Oh my god, all the animals are out. It's having a party out there. This is really nice, this pencil. So I love using a brown instead of a black, especially on someone like myself with my colorings, blonde hair, blue eyes, not super tanned. It just gives you more of like a softer vibe. So these are so nice and soft that you can easily just smoke them away. So this is a Crown angle brush that I'm using. This is a C207. Oh, I'm liking this. This is great. This would be great for my party tonight with all my guests. Can't wait. Might even pick up. So we're just gonna soften those edges out. So you can see why I need this hand to be doing these ones, pulling, because she's old, and not holding the mirror like all the YouTubers do and can easily just flow through with one hand. It's not going to happen with Connie. So this is such a good color for the color shadows that I've chosen because they're all warm tones. So that's another kind of rule that I like to run with, is if you start with warm tones, continue with warm tones. Don't mix, like for instance, if you were transitioning from a warm shadow trying to transition into a cool shadow when you're working your way up the eye, I don't think it's very flattering to be mixing. It's like mixing metals. Like I'm pretty anti wearing gold and silver in terms of jewelry. That's just me personally. I know that some people like that and that's great, but for me, I like to just keep the flow with whatever I have started with. All right, guys, so I've successfully blended out that liner. So now we're gonna chuck on some mascara. I'm using, really? Okay, so I'm using the Stila Magnum XXX mascara. Comes with a big feck off wand like that. And it's, must be peak time in the street right now. Okay, so away we go. It's a thickening mascara. Luckily, the one thing that I have going for me is that I have long lashes and they are curled like naturally. I don't need to use a curler. But the downside is that they are on the fairer side. So I did give myself a lash tint 2 nights ago at home using the Reflectosil. No, there's no L in there. Reflectosil, I think it's called. Tint. Okay guys, next up I'm going to use the same Charlotte Tilbury copper pencil to go, we'll do this eye, underneath the eye as well, and I'm going to smoke that out. But it's also laying down some kind of something for if I was to put eyeshadow underneath on top of this. It gives it something to stick to and hopefully it's not going to smudge around too much. So I've used the same. This is the Crown C207. I swear my allergies have gone to like an all-time high since old Rona's been around. It's great. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit more. I don't even know if I'll put shadow over the top of this, we'll see. But the trick is that you never want what's going on underneath the eye. You never want your eye to be bottom heavy, and you can already see what's happened. This is how I normally wear my eyeliner. I don't usually put shadow underneath. This is what can happen if it's poorly executed, which obviously I haven't finished yet. But you can see that it's completely rounded out my eye. So just because I followed along the lash bed doesn't mean it's going to keep a shape like this. So it's up to me now to kind of mold it into more of that almond and less rounded. But like I was saying, we don't ever want the underneath eye to be bottom heavy. For obvious reasons. We don't want to be dragging your eyes down. We want to always be lifting everything up on the face. But I do prefer this on me personally. This doesn't always happen on everyone's eyes, but it will happen if the person already has really round eyes. You would never do this on somebody that had exceptionally round eyes, because it's just going to draw attention to that and round them out further and make the eyes bigger, and they already have quite big eyes. So I'm gonna fix this. Okay guys, I am now going to smoke away under the eye a little bit further just to soften the liner that's underneath there, and I'm going to do that with color number 1 that I used out of the Crown palette. This is another Crown C510. Usually I would use a bullet brush under here, but this is fine too because it's more of a flat brush, so I do have control over where this is going. And I'm using just the point of it, obviously not the flat side. I'm just going to soften this and really blow it out and make sure that I'm connecting the bottom right here into the top, so that we ensure that the shape is flowing all as one piece and it doesn't start to have this, I call it a 3. You get the panel through there that never seems to marry up. It's always got a little less shadow on it, and it's easy to do. Everyone does it because we often start on the top of the eye and, you know, more of an oval shape, and then we go under, which is this shape, and then we easily miss this little section in here. So I'm kind of trying to turn this more into an almondy shape, less round, which means pulling the shadow out to the side of the eye, like that. Okay guys, you know what time it is. It's drinking time. Okay, so you can see what I've done here. I've smoked away the bottom, I've kind of balanced the top and the bottom, and now I'm going to use the same color that is on my mobile lid just on the inner corners of my eyes. Just a little accent, nothing too ham. This is one area that I often feel, in my opinion, it's overdone. It's too much. It's product overload in here. I like it to just have a nice, subtle, light-catching accent. Okay guys, I'm gonna do my bottom mascara, because you know I love a good bottom lashing. Just kidding. So this is the Stila mascara again, the Magnum one. I normally use the huge lash, which is a smaller wand. And on all my clients, I love a tubular mascara. I use the Pony Cosmetics White Night mascara, which is what I've used for years. It's my favorite. It's although it's not waterproof, it's far more reliable in humid conditions in terms of working with brides and things like that. You don't want it to start rubbing if they've got long lashes top and bottom, or it could be just the way that their bone structure is. and transferring. And then if it is waterproof, they can't get it off. So I am saying that some waterproofs still do transfer. They do. And it's very hard for our poor brides to maintain that without ruining the rest of their makeup, and we're not there to save it. So moving on now, I have been sent from Freck some cheek slime. It's a lip and cheek tint with plant collagen. So this shade that I'm using, or I'm going to use, is called Fielding. Let's hope it's not a little too cray for my skin tone, and if it is, we will make it work. This is a Crown C329 pointed blush. I'm just going to get a little bit on the end of my brush. This is quite, I would say, a sheer product. And I chose this color because it's warm. I'm not using a pink because I've already started the eyes with warm, and it just has the same rule with, if you start with warms, continue with warms, same thing. So I'm going to apply a little bit just in the apple of my cheek. That's nice because it is, like I said, it's sheer. I can get away with a color like this, but usually I would love to use this color on someone with more of a tan, or my deep skinned girls. But that's looking quite delish and very easy to use. Actually, they're not, this particular cream blush, I would say, is not like some others that have more of that dewy effect, which I do love. This doesn't have that dewiness, which is good if you were, say, for instance, doing makeup on somebody, they had their hair out, it was a super windy day. Avoid the cream blushes like you would avoid a lip gloss, because it's just going to get all over their face and with their hair sticking in it. So that's good, that's easy to apply, and that's just given me some nice warmth into these cheeks just to brighten my day up. Okay guys, I am going to almost complete this look by highlighting with the Tom Ford Reflects Gilt highlighting duo. So we're going to go down this plastic surgeon's nose that I created. I love this bit in here, this little dip. Quite nice in there. And we're going to go Cupid's bow, because I'm going to overline the shit out of these snake lips, as my sister likes to call them. So that's going to make my lips look a little bit bigger. And we can't forget the old cheekbones. So this is going around the orbital bone. I like using a smaller, more dense brush for highlight application, because the denser your brush, the more product goes on. And I'm creating that C shape that's traveling off the orbital bone around, away from under the eyes. Hi guys. Okay, it's time to put the lips on. So this is a Marc Jacobs pencil in the shade Sugar High is the shade. Whenever I obviously do my own lips, but when I do clients' lips, I always get them to do a fake smile, whether it's a closed smile, or sometimes I need them to open so that everything's tight, so that you can get this on evenly. I'm going up and over the real lip line on the top, just to give the illusion of a fuller lip. Okay guys, I'm going to fill this in with a Kat Von D Liquid to Matte in the shade Manuka, similar to the honey. So I'm just going to decant a little bit of this onto my hand, because this is obviously out of my kit. I'm using a Crown C170-6 lip wand. I feel like this is going to be borderline fluoro on me, but YOLO. I'm feeling a little bit like a Barbie doll with this colour, but yellow. Okay guys, I'm going to deepen this lip up because right now it's just such a flat, nothing, there's no dimension. So I'm going to shape it a little bit. So I'm using an Urban Decay lipstick in the shade Interrogate. So I'm going to keep the light color in the center, but then what I'm going to do shaping wise is just put a bit of this around the outside, which is also bringing some more peach and less pink to match in with the eyes. This is much better. So then in the center, because that was more of a cream and obviously the rest of it was a matte, I can't have the center of my lips being matte because it defeats the whole purpose of shaping. So you always want there to be a little bit of a kick, a bit of highlight in the center, which is going to make the lips look a little bit bigger. So I'm going to jump in with another lipstick. Okay, so it's another Urban Decay lipstick in the shade Vanished, which unfortunately guys, I have a bad feeling that this one is discontinued, which sucks. So this is just gonna go in the center. I've used this color a lot on my brides actually, I really like it. Vanished by Urban Decay. So lighter in the center, darker around the outside. And that, my friends, is the finished look. I'm going to take some pictures of this before the sun goes down. I always leave these tutorials far too late in the day. It's now 5:20 in Queensland. So I'll be posting this tonight, so stay tuned.